Do you understand that it's the belief that gives it power?
Right.
If you don't believe in ghosts, the ghosts can't hurt you. If you don't believe in depression, you can't become depressed. And I refuse to believe in something that's going to weaken me. Why would I believe in something that's going to weaken my ability to deal with problems in life? Why would I do that? I'm temporarily immortal.
Yep, that's Andrew Tate, the most Googled man on the planet.
And I am now the most famous man on the planet. I'm more Googled than Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Look it up. I'm the most Googled man on the fucking planet.
And look, I'll be very clear before we start to get too much into it. I don't think Andrew Tate is right in everything he says. However, as put by Friedrich Nietzsche, there's always some reason in madness. And as much as you hate him, or maybe not, I truly believe him when he says that he's changing the life of many young men around the world.
Pierce, somebody with your following says
the thousands of people who have emailed me saying my doctor told me I was clinically depressed and it's a disease that I have got in my brain and I can't be fixed. And I started listening to you and I realized that that's not the case and I can fix my own life and you're the only person who has ever helped me. Thousands of people have emailed me that exact email.
If you think you are single-handedly curing people of clinical depression, you are living in cloud cuckoo.
And as crazy as he may appear to be, he is right, because he's expounding an idea, which we're gonna call in this video the power of belief, which is one of the most important concepts to be aware of if you're pursuing a healthy state of mind. And I'm gonna explain that to you not through Instagram reels of Andrew Tate with a Russian song in the background, but through a deeper look into the human psyche.
Never stop believing in yourself. The power of belief is just unbearable, impregnable. Power of belief. Confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence. Confidence applied properly will surpass a genius. It's not like the belief. It's real shit. Right. I'm only here because I believe. Really, I just believe this shit.
I have a 4-year-old nephew. My older brother's having a hard time cutting out bad words that he's been learning at school. Nothing really that bad, but it still can be problematic to have a 4-year-old saying not so friendly words. And a couple weeks ago, my nephew approached me and said, "Uncle Bro," because my brother calls me bro. I try not to say those words, but my classmates at school, they say them and it gets stuck in my mind. The harder I try not to say them, more I wanna say them. Little does my nephew knows is that what is going on in his mind right now will continue for the rest of his life. The battle between two drives that exist in each of us, the fight between the will and the imagination. In 1920, this French psychologist named Émile Coué gifted the world one of the greatest achievements in understanding the human mind. The book Self-Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion, in which he mentions those two important ideas. Emile introduces at first the will, in which if we look at the dictionary, the word is defined by the faculty of freely determining certain acts, which is totally incorrect. Because the will, always, with no exceptions, yields to the imagination. In order to make you conceive this idea, I will display the same explanation Emile proposes in his book. Let's suppose we place on the ground a plank, 30 feet long by 1 foot wide. It is evident that everybody will be capable of going from one end to the other of this plank without stepping over the edge. But now change the conditions of the experiment and imagine this plank placed at the height of 2 towers of a cathedral. Who then will be capable of advancing a few feet along this narrow path? Before you had taken 2 steps, you would begin to tremble, and in spite of every effort of your will, you would be certain to fall to the ground. The question we make now is why? Why is it then that you would not fall if the plank is on the ground? And why should you fall if it is raised to a height above the ground? It is all in your imagination. In the first case, you think it's possible. In the second case, you think you cannot do so. You see how your will bends to your imagination? This happens because the will is your conscious mind, and it does not matter what you consciously want. If you don't truly believe in your imagination, or rather, if your unconscious mind still doubts itself, you cannot make it. The vertigo is caused by the picture that you're going to fall. This picture immediately turns into fact in spite of all the efforts of your will. The harder you make your will, the worse it gets, and I'll show you a thought experiment that can allow you to see that. Close your eyes if possible and promise me, do not think, no matter what, of a pink elephant. It's guaranteed, at least a pink blur will appear in your imagination. This happens because every time your will is in conflict with your imagination, the imagination is going to win. "I'm gonna force myself to sleep now," said someone who couldn't sleep all night. "I studied this. I'm gonna force myself to remember in the test," said someone who failed the test. "I don't wanna laugh in this situation. I'm gonna force myself to stop it," said someone laughing uncontrollably.
Plus het feit, als je met seks omgaat, Is het niet alleen het fysieke dat telt, maar ook soms de lieve woordjes.
You see, your free will isn't as free as you may think. From the most terrible phobias to the urge of my nephew to call everybody a buttface, it's not truly a desirable act by the person himself. If you could, you would stop it, but that's not how it goes. However, there is a beautiful side of it, and that is that you can, through your conscious mind, change your subconscious, even for depression. And it's not Andrew Tate or myself telling you this, it's Emil Coué himself. Likewise, if you occasionally suffer from depression, if you are gloomy and prone to worry and looking on the dark side of things, from now onwards you will cease to do so. And instead of worrying and being depressed and looking on the dark side of things, you are going to feel perfectly cheerful, possibly without any special reason for it, just as you used to feel depressed for no particular reason. And it's also valid to point out how Emil Coué alert those who work in the health industry to be aware of this phenomenon, not only to help more their patients, but also to not cause the opposite effect. For instance, if a doctor who by his title alone has a suggestive influence on his patients, tell him that he can do nothing for him, and that his illness is incurable, he provokes in the mind of the latter an auto-suggestions that may have the most disastrous consequences. If, however, he tells him that his illness is a serious one, it is true, but with care, time and patience he can be cured. He sometimes, and even often, obtains results which will surprise him. But the question is, how can you seize the harmful beliefs and implement good ones? It is said by Emil that some people, in a single thought, are able to change their frame of mind. If you are one of those people, firmly believe that whatever you want to get rid of is no more and it will be over. However, that's a very small part of the population and probably is not what is going to happen to most people. I wish everybody could have the Muhammad Ali self-belief.
I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
But even him needed to reinforce this belief before it was a reality. So here's where lies an important concept of the book. Emil never cured a person. That was said by him, because you may think when you see a hypnotist that he's the cause of a person's trance, but in fact it is the person who allowed the hypnotist to do so, not the other way around. The hypnotist's suggestions are the signs along the road, but the walk itself has to be done by the person. For that reason, you, yourself, can induce your unconscious to a pattern of your choice, because it already happens unconsciously anyway, so why not induce for something that is actually helpful?
I go check, mate. Okay?
Before you go to sleep, say a little prayer. Every day, in every way, it's getting better and better.
John Lennon mentions the main exercise proposed by Emil Coué in his song Beautiful Boy. Every day before you go to sleep and after you wake up, relax as much as you can, and with a string with many knots on it, repeat this sentence. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Remember to relax and try your best not to bring the will into the exercise as explained earlier. Do it over and over again. Your brain will adapt to this new truth you're telling yourself to. The reason it's better to do it before the sleep and after you wake up is the fact that your brain will be more susceptible to accept those suggestions as true due to the relaxation state of your brain. But it can be done at any time you want to. And you know what makes it work even better? To know that now you can understand how your brain works, and that if you truly manage to believe in something, it will turn into a fact, and for consequence, a reality for you. And a good case of success using this exercise is the very known boxer Mike Tyson.
That's what I used to say. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better.
Affirmations, the way that the affirmation, the way Emil Coué, he didn't invent them. They've been doing this before Christ, but he made it very worldwide, world spread affirmation.
I wish I could show you the many exercises to explore your imagination and how it works in a deeper level, as it is covered in Emil Coué's book, but unfortunately it's not possible to do that through a video. That's why I encourage you to read Emil Coué's book. It's very small and straight to the point, and also not very expensive. But if you're truly not in conditions to buy right now, a bird just came at my window and said that you can easily find it for free online. Anyway, thank you for your time and see you soon.